How everybody doing? Welcome to another session of Do Your Homework. Hey, I'm not going to keep you long today. I just came across some information that I had to share with you, and I'm going to go right on into it. First of all, I'm going to expound on what today is in South Carolina. It is Confederate Memorial Day. Let that resonate in your mind, but this is what inspired me to speak on this particular topic. So, a lot of times, I done heard in certain settings that the Civil War wasn't fought to free the slaves. Now, that may be so, but one thing for sure, on the other pole, that the Confederate or the South, they were fighting to keep the institution of slavery alive. And I got some information here. This is why this is called Do Your Homework, because you got to do your own research. Okay? Some so-called awakened conscious people, they say that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. I'm going to tell you right now, that's lies and more lies. It had nothing to do with slavery. So, first of all, you got to do your homework. You got to do your homework, family. The reason for the secession, that's the separation from the South, from the North, or the Confederate from the Union, was to preserve and to expand slavery. I'm going to give you a quote from Alexander Stevenson. If you don't know who that is, that was the vice president under Jefferson Davis when the South committed an act of treason in separating from the Union, a rebellion. They rebelled because they wanted to preserve slavery. That's it, and that's all. Okay? Alexander Stevenson said that the great truth of the foundation of this new government, talking about the Confederacy, is based upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man. That slavery, subordination to the superior race is natural and normal condition. Furthermore, Jefferson Davis, when he walked out of the Senate, he was saying that the Confederate was to protect slavery and to expand slavery. Actually, to make this a universal institution. Because they was being prosperous off of free labor. That in many so-called white nationalist terrorist minds, slavery was looked upon as a positive good. The Southerners were the truest of conservatives. They wanted to preserve the tradition and institution of slavery. By 1850s, the U.S. Southern states was the largest slave nation on the planet. Now, all I'm saying is that maybe Abraham Lincoln did not, have the best interest of so-called blacks in mind when when he was preserving the Union. But one thing for sure, the conservative thought process of the South, they wanted to keep the institution of slavery. And that's why a lot of Americans lost their lives. Not saying that's the whole picture, but you can't take that out of the pie because that is part of what took place. Some people was fighting for some reasons and other people was fighting for other reasons. But slavery most definitely was an issue. The conservative state, tradition. They wanted to keep the tradition of free labor, exploitation, identifying human beings as 3/5 of a man, having human beings, the former slaves, or the slaves at that time, to be identified as chattel. That's like animals or beasts of burdens. Ladies and gentlemen, all I'm saying, my pops told me, read. That's one of our greatest deficiencies, that we don't read. We just go and look at this news, look at this propaganda from all these different perspectives, and we don't do no research to come to our own conclusions. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for brothers and sisters that study and do research and things of that nature. But when you coming from a biased nationalist perspective to promote a particular goal in the agenda, you actually lying when you're telling people half the story. That's just my point of view. I come to you with this message in love. I leave you this message in peace. And it's our responsibility as adults to teach our children the truth about the events that took place in the developing of the United States. And that's just not for so-called black people, that's for so-called whites as well. Because the so-called whites must do their parts to bring about a true redemption for the atrocities that has been exercised against the former slaves. Thank you for tuning in. Do your homework. It's just the point of view, a message from the street. Peace and goodwill to all humankind. Live your life on purpose, with purpose, because life is all purpose. Peace.